Hi, thanks for staying with us on Inside Baker. Well, we are going to be talking about plagiarism, and we have Sandy Davidson, who is the, let me check my notes, the Advising and Tutoring Coordinator for the Student Academic Services.
Yes, it used to be the Learning Resource Center.
Okay.
And then we changed the name, now it's Student Academic Services.
All right, no longer the LRC.
Right, it's
okay.
SAS.
All right. All right. Well, I'm going to start off with kind of a question that may seem a little obvious, but what is plagiarism?
There's a lot of discussion about where does original thought end and when are we using other people's ideas. And I think that now, especially in this culture of sharing, it is a little complicated. And I think that probably, and I'm thinking in terms of students, because that's who your audience is, and that's who struggles the most with this issue. And really, it's this simple. If it's your idea, if these are your observations, your perceptions, then you can use them freely. But as soon as you start using other people's ideas, anything published, anything you've heard, you need to cite it. You need to give that person or that source credit. And it's pretty much that simple. Now, there has been a lot of discussion about encyclopedia. What is common knowledge? It used to be anything you got out of an encyclopedia was considered common knowledge. And now there's even a lot of discussion about whether or not we need to be citing encyclopedias. Well, why not? I mean, why just avoid the entire problem and cite? Give your sources credit. Also, there's, and I know this happens on campuses across America, but there are a lot of students who have written papers who seem very willing to share their papers with other students. And I know on this campus we've had years and years of students in LA 101 classes, LA 102, 301, 401. So there's the question about whether or not they should be sharing each other's papers. Well, no, of course you can't do that. No, you want your work, and you want to protect the integrity of your degree by using your work.
Isn't there an instance where also if you use your own work from a certain class for another class?
Recycling. We call it recycling.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that considered plagiarism as well?
And the question came up just this week. If I have written something in a paper and then I want to use it again later in another paper, do I have to cite myself? Authors do it all the time. Why not? Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But it would probably be good to discuss that with your professor or... depending.
Yeah, I would definitely talk to my teacher.
Right.
Yes, because you don't want to, have teachers talk. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine? I just got that paper last semester from the same student.
Sure.
That's not good.
So how would you recommend students avoiding plagiarism? Do you have some basic tips that every student should keep in the forefront of their mind?
Pretty much just don't do it.
Just don't do it?
Yeah.
But does it ever get a little more tedious than that? Like, I'm making mistakes on citing, or I'm not really sure if I put too many...
I understand what you're asking. I know there are lots of reasons why students plagiarize, and I think that the three that I see that come up over and over again, first there's naivete. But unfortunately, ignorance isn't innocence. I mean, we are in college now. It's time to know what it is. Understand plagiarism. So, I know sometimes it's accidental, but not that often. And then also there's fear. I think a lot of students just don't trust their own voice. They don't trust their own perceptions. And they're afraid that... they just don't trust themselves. And there's fear, too, that they won't say it as good as someone else might say it, or write it as good as someone else might write it. But this is the learning ground. I mean, this is where we get to learn how to express ourselves, how to test ourselves. So, don't be afraid. That would be my advice. But also, there is this thing called laziness. It takes great concentration to study something. And it's just so easy to get on the internet and find someone else's word.
So in that concentration, would you say avoiding plagiarism takes practice and it takes experience and planning and
it takes honesty.
Basic and simple honesty?
Don't you think? Just being honest.
Makes sense to me.
Just being honest.
So if you are not very experienced in plagiarism, or it happens, if you aren't very informed as to what plagiarism is, where can you go to find out?
Well, I think if you just watch this show.
Right.
No, heck, you can Google plagiarism. Just don't depend on Wikipedia to tell you. No, I mean, anybody can find out what plagiarism is.
Are there services in the service center that you work in?
The SAS, of course. Tutors are trained to, discourage plagiarism, but also to show students ways that they can explore their own thoughts, their own ideas. It's okay to get on the internet and look at forums to see what other people are saying and thinking, but eventually, at some point, because we are in the business of education, and part of education is being innovative, being creative, being individual. So, eventually you've got to develop your own thoughts, your own perceptions. That's very important.
Important, and with a little work, it's completely possible.
Of course.
Right.
Yes.
Well, Sandy, thank you very much for talking to us about it, and I think
welcome.
people know where they can go if they need help.
Thank you, Kristin.
Right now, we're going to go to the King and Queen of Courts ceremony with Tricia Shelton on the field.
2 Baker students are enjoying a reign of royalty after the basketball game Thursday. Sophomore Kyle Jones and junior Abby Burnett were selected as the King and Queen of Courts. Kyle Jones was representing Zeta Chi fraternity. This is their first time winning the competition for many years, and he says they are happy to have it back in the house.
Playing it cool, but once I got out on the court, I was pretty nervous.
The fundraiser has been a Baker tradition for many years. It is sponsored by Cardinal Key, an honorary society for students with good grades and campus involvement.
So it's a scholarly honorary organization, but it's also for people who are interested in community service.
Burnett, the Phi Mu sorority representative, is also a member of many campus organizations.
I'm a National Order of Omega. I'm a Baker Ambassador. I'm the head ambassador. I'm a Statistics 2 teacher's assistant. I'm also in the USDA, FCA. I'm a university tutor.
The winners of the competition are decided in a unique way, however. Students and faculty donated extra money to jars set up in the union for several days. If change was donated, it was positive points, but bills and checks counted against the candidate. Although all the money is going to a good cause, competition was intense. Some sorority alumni even sent in checks for large amounts to convert into change to support their candidate. The total amount raised was over $1,200 and will be donated to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, which is Cardinal Key's philanthropy. The group is supported by celebrities such as Mary Tyler Moore and raises millions for diabetes research each year, and this year Baker did a great job helping out. Tricia Shelton reporting for KNBU-TV.